Interesting.
Yeah.
Now, what have you brought me here? What can you tell me about these little pieces, and why have you brought them today, Brian? I'd like to know what's the history behind them.
You said you'd like to see them.
Okay.
They are.
What's this one, for example?
That's the Russian Order of St. John of Kronstadt. That was given to me for service to the Russian community. That's a recognised Russian order, state order.
Not many of these around.
I think there's about 4 in Australia.
Wow. That's priceless. And this?
It's the Norwegian Order of St. Olaf.
Norwegian.
Yes.
How did you get them?
Well, that was also for, I'm very interested in religious matters too, as well. That was awarded for services to Christianity and services to the monarchist cause.
From the Norwegians?
From the Norwegians.
But that was awarded to you here?
No, it was awarded from Norway too, and it was delivered to me here.
And how many of and not many of these?
I think there might be 4 or 5 in Australia.
And what's this one here?
That's the Order of the Golden Eagle of Georgia.
What can you tell me about this one?
Well, that's a knighthood in the state knighthood in the Georgian honours. That was given to the Crown Prince of Georgia for services to the monarchist cause.
And not many of these around?
Oh, no.
And this one?
It's the Order of that's the Order of St. Anna.
The Order
of St. Anna.
St. Anna.
That's an old order.
It's religious. So this is St. Anna.
Most of them have St. Anna in there.
Oh, okay.
Most of them have religious significance. The Order of St. Anna was founded in about 1720. It's about the third or fourth most important in the Russian imperial orders, and that was given to me.
So which one's Norwegian?
That one.
That one? This one's Russian?
That's Russian.
And this one?
Georgian.
Georgian. And that?
Russian.
Russian. So 2 Russians, Georgian. And what else did you have?
No, that's sufficient.
That's sufficient. That's enough.
Yes.
What else can you tell me about antiques and royal families and...
Well, the royal families were usually great patrons of the arts. They patrons of artists and silversmiths and jewellers and furniture makers, and they patronised them. And of course, the most important furniture was made for the royal families. So, in many instances...
In highest of qualities.
Oh, that's right. And some of these people, these workshops, wouldn't have been able to go on unless they'd been patronised by the royal families. For example, you had the Say factory in France, which really produced porcelain just for the royal family. And you had the King's Porcelain factory in Berlin. You had Royal Vienna in Austria.
Now, you've visited some of these places.
Most of them.
Most of these places. You actually go out there and buy from these places?
No. I mean, a lot of the factories are now gone. They're finished. But
that's because the royal families are...
Well, yes, in many instances the royal families are, but it's a new world. Everything's changing, but you can still buy the old things on the open market. They're getting harder and harder to find. The nicer things, I think. You see, in Eastern Europe, these sorts of things. After the revolution, if anybody had those, they'd shoot you. You know, that meant that you were being rewarded by the last regime. But now communism.
You wouldn't tell them.
No, if you kept them. But now communism has fallen. The Russians, the Bulgarians, the Romanians, the Yugoslavs, they're all trying to buy these things back again because they had to hide them or sell them or get rid of them because it was too dangerous to have.
This is their history. This is
Precisely. And there's many millionaires. I mean, I have some nice Russian pieces that would be worth a lot of money in Russia because there's many millionaires in Russia. Many millionaires. And they, of course, want to take their history home.
Would you ever consider selling any of it?
No.
Never? You'd just pass it on?
Not yet. Well, no, not. I wouldn't sell association pieces. I mean, I have a meat plate.
And these are association pieces?
These are not. No, they're just, I suppose, just recognition by the family.
Okay, when you say association pieces, the tables, the chairs...
Association pieces and these, you own something that you can prove actually belong to somebody. For example, I have the Duke of Wellington's big meat plate, right? Queen Victoria's parasol.
Parasol?
One she carried in her Golden Jubilee Parade in 1897. How
did you end up with that?
I bought it. That was donated by the old Princess Royal during the war to a Red Cross sale. They had Red Cross sales during the war to raise money for funds for the troops. And the Princess Royal donated this parasol, which had belonged to her great-grandmother, Queen Victoria, to the sale. And Dame Mabel Brooks bought this parasol in London at the sale, in raising funds for the Red Cross causes. And when Dame Mabel sold her collection, I bought it from Dame Mabel.
Incredible, isn't it?
It's interesting.
Very interesting.
I find it so. As I said at the start, you can't meet these people that are long since dead, but you can meet their descendants, and you can actually own things that once belonged to them. And a lot of people wouldn't care, but I care. I think it's fascinating.
Oh, I think it's fascinating just hearing it. Can you imagine actually going there and
It's nice. It's
seeing where it came from and how old it is and the condition it's in?
It's interesting. And as I said, the people themselves are fascinating. They're usually just charming people, really charming people.
Down to earth?
Yes. The Russian Grand Duchess is very down to earth. We were given all strict instructions as to how she must be treated and this, that and the other. But I'll cite you an example. I was in Ekaterinburg in Russia, and there was a banquet at the governor's for the Grand Duchess, and there were about probably 400 people in the room. And there were 3 tables, 1, 2, 3. There was the head table.
How did you end up going there?
I was invited.
Because of your involvement with the monarchy?
That and the Russian Church. I was with the Vicar General of the Russian Orthodox Church.
Monarchy and religion. Go.
And give you an example, because it's so long since there's been any royal family in Russia, we weren't allowed to visit those churches, but now they can visit, and they're very popular. Anyway, she walked into the room, and most people there have no idea of what protocol is, but I suppose only half a dozen women in the room curtsied, and probably half a dozen men bowed, which is normal in Europe, isn't very normal, but it didn't happen in Russia. But she walked down the middle of the aisle, and my wife curtsied, and she smiled. I just bowed such, and she smiled. Then she walked forward, and she remembered where she'd met me, because we'd helped organise her tour here. She visited here 2 years ago. So there's 400 people standing up, can't sit down, including
she came to speak to you.
She came and spoke to Lorraine and I, and said how lovely it was to see, and how nice, how much she'd enjoyed Australia, and that sort of thing. Now, everybody's saying, who are they? When? Everybody's looking saying, who are they? Why is she stopped? But she did. And that's the sort of thing. They're very courteous. She's a charming, charming lady.
Well, even like you said, Prince William is so down to it's what you see is what you get.
When I said I met him, yes, I did. I suppose I had a conversation with him for less than a minute.
But still.
But he was the most charming, pleasant. Thank you so much. How nice to meet you. I'm delighted. Just couldn't have been nice. Exactly as he appears on the television. And I found all of them to be that way, actually, for those that I've been privileged enough to meet.
Wow, Brian. I think that wraps it up. It's been a privilege talking to you again especially about hearing about the royal families and your association with them.
Well, very, very tenuous association. I'm lucky enough to have met quite a few.
Very good. Okay, Brian, thank you for today, and you're watching All Fashion.